おかげさまで皆さんのご支援で、はい、無事に帰ってくることができました。All right, guys.
Here we go.
Так, вот здесь, да, значит.
Okay, slowly. Slowly, please support him. I'm okay.
Пойдем к автобусу.
Let's go to the bus. Careful.
Yeah. There's a lady down there. Hello, Молодец. Ты сейчас видишь.
Okay, over here.
Did you switch Mattel and Switchy?
Thank you.
Мы рады приветствовать вас.
We're glad to welcome you in Kazakhstan.
Благополучно приземлились.
We're glad you had a successful landing. Congratulations on work successfully done. Let's wish to the crew good health and successful trip back home. There is a tradition. We give our national clothing to the crew members. Dombra, Kazakhstan traditional musical instrument. And the best candy in the world from Karaganda with the crew photograph. We will definitely play this instrument. In my turn, on behalf of the management, I would like to congratulate you on the successful completion of flight and return to the ground, return to Earth in Kazakhstan. We have some small traditional souvenirs we would like to present to you as gifts. Here's the descent module in the back and the front. It has the picture of the Kosmonauts. These are traditional Russian nesting dolls. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. From the Air Force, congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, thank you once again for hosting us. You play an important part. Karaganda plays an important part to the return of our crews from space. We want to appreciate you for that with a picture that was taken on orbit with you and your city from space.
Уважаемый господин Аким, вы играете очень важную роль в возвращении экипажа на Землю с Международной космической станции. Мы хотели бы очень вас поблагодарить и подарить вам этот подарок. Это фотография города Караганда, которая была сделана с Международной космической станции.
Это была большая честь для меня.
It is a big honor for me to have been the commander of such a wonderful crew.
Стив. Поэтому мне очень повезло.
I was very fortunate. I have had a wonderful time on board of the station.
Я очень рад, что
Yeah, I'm very glad
мог совершить эту миссию.
to have been able to complete this mission.
Да, уже я скучаю без моих членов экипажа.
I miss the other crew members on board who remained on the station,
Хорошего времени.
and I wish them to have a successful mission and have a good time. Which language were you speaking?
Да, этот робот только
And the robot,
говорит по-японски, поэтому я общался
the robot speaks
по-японски.
Japanese, so I was able to speak Japanese to the robot. A question. Could you repeat it, please? What do you mean impacted work? News station. I apologize. The way you worded the question, the way you worded the question, could you rephrase it? We have a positive attitude because we've been working in the program from the very beginning, and we're very glad that the work is going on. And it would be good if the work is going on longer than we originally expected. We need to make sure that we have excellent results other than just have the machine going on and making all the traditional operational sounds.
Yeah, can you repeat the actual question? There seems like a lot of questions in there.
Повторите, пожалуйста, еще вопрос. Может быть, переформулируйте его, и я отвечу с удовольствием.
Существует, наверное, вероятность, что напряженные отношения между Россией и США могут коснуться сотрудничества в космической отрасли. Ваша реакция как представитель непосредственно занимающихся международным сотрудничеством?
I think we're always going to have some form of cooperation between our countries. Excuse me. It's just a question of how long and what we do together, you know, as excuse me, what do we do as countries doesn't affect how we work together on orbit. Misha and Koichi and I and all our other Russian and American colleagues, we worked fantastically and we are close friends.
Я уверен, что...
Позвольте добавить два слова буквально. Знаете, как
Please allow me to add a couple of words.
явный,
You see,
после того, как мы
the obvious success of our work in space can serve as a very good example how we should work jointly on Earth. And I think we need to learn from each other, learn good things from each other.
я возьму на себя, ну, так сказать, смелость.
I can
Разумеется,
try to say,
люди
of course,
и интерес у всех поэтому живут.
people are all human beings and they're alive. Their interests are alive.
Не выяснение того, кто
So the discussion is not, the arguments is not who is right, who is wrong. Productive discussions that are aiming to find the truth. Thank you very much. You see, please avoid political questions. These crew members are not fully aware of the situation going on the ground. Thank you. We would love to talk about something a lot more natural. Thank you. Let's speak up slowly. Thank you. Thank you.
Rick Mastracchio, welcome home. An amazing 6 months aboard the International Space Station. I was struck by the fact that 4 trips to the station during your career, 1 long duration flight, obviously, this one. You watched this station grow and mature over the course of your whole career practically. What were your thoughts when you and your crewmates departed in your Soyuz vehicle, headed back to Earth, and took a look back at what had been your home for the past 6 months?
Well, looking back at the expedition overall, excuse me, I feel like we accomplished a lot of things. We did a lot of science. We did several EVAs and spacewalks to repair the space station. And of course, we had a couple of visiting vehicles while we were there. So I think we accomplished everything the program asked us to do and maybe a little bit more. So I felt good about it.
The ride downhill on Soyuz, everybody calls it the E-ticket at Disneyland. What were your thoughts? What was the most thrilling part of it all?
Yeah, it's the words in my mind were wild ride, you know, and it was wild. First of all, just getting yourself as tight as you can in that seat is a challenge. And then once you go through entry, pulling about 5 Gs, that wasn't actually too bad. But then it really starts when the parachute deployment sequence starts, and you get tossed around quite a bit. And then, of course, the final impact with the good old planet Earth was a lot harder than I expected it to be. But I feel great. I felt good through the whole thing. I felt great after landing, and it was everything worked out perfectly.
Your thoughts, your impressions as you took a breath of fresh air for the first time in 6 months and saw all this crowd around you and smelled the Earth, some of the sensory thoughts that went through your mind.
Yeah, first of all, the cold air, the cool air coming in was fantastic. You know, you breathe the space station air, which is very clean, of course, but it's nothing like the air we have here on Earth, and so that was the first impression. You know, the other thing I was thinking before we landed, I was thinking, well, there has to be about 100 different miracles have to happen between undocking and landing, and every one of them worked perfectly, and I was just overjoyed to be on the ground, and when they opened up the hatch, I was very, very happy.
Rick, when you have an opportunity weeks or months from now to look back and think about what you've accomplished during this particular flight and all the major milestones of Expedition 38 and 39, what do you think, if you were writing the legacy of this pair of increments, would be outstanding in your mind?
Well, of course, we had the spacewalks. Those are always very dramatic and very important, of course. The visiting vehicles, of course, we had one of the Cygnus and SpaceX. But I tell you, I think after SpaceX arrived, and after Cygnus and SpaceX arrived, it's amazing the amount of science that we do up there. And that's when really, that's when the fun begins, in my opinion. That's when we start to get out these really good experiments, and we work on them for a few days, and we collect the samples, and then pack them up and get them ready to return to Earth. And those were the days that I enjoyed the most. We're really doing a lot of science, because that's the reason we're up there.
And the international flavor of your crew and your crewmates and the close bond that you struck with them offer a few thoughts about what the International Space Station means in terms of a global village up in orbit.
Yeah, of course, all my crewmates were great. We got along fantastic. And I always tell folks, you know, yeah, even though we had astronauts from Japan and the United States, and we had cosmonauts from Russia, I don't look at those as my crewmates as from being from Russia or from Japan or from different places. I look at them as just my friends and my crewmates. And that's a great way to, in any endeavor, I think that's a great way to think about folks as just as friends and as people.
Welcome home, Rick.
Thanks
very much.
Thanks.
Expedition 39 Commander Koichi Wakata, welcome home, Koichi. Just an amazing 6 months in orbit. You know, throughout your career, you helped build the station, you inaugurated the 6-person crew on the station, first Japanese commander of the International Space Station, quite an honor. As you look back on all that you've done in support of this facility, what stands out and what stands out in particular about the mission you've just completed?
Well, I think I'm a very lucky person to be able to see this, to participate in the construction assembly and the operation of the International Space Station. With the 6 crew members on board the space station, we're in the stage of full utilization of the assets and then human resources to do the science. So I'm very impressed with what we can do in using this human post in space.
As you undocked and backed away from this place that had been your home for the past 6 months, what were your thoughts as you look back and some of the reminiscing you might have done during a moment or two before re-entry?
Yeah, that's I think it's a bittersweet feeling. I really enjoyed the 6 months on this flight, and then we did a lot with a great teamwork on the ground as well as on board. I was lucky to be able to work with this wonderful crew. And of course, I wanted to see my family members, but I know that I will miss the beautiful view from the cupola and all the windows of the space station, and then miss this floating and having this exciting days of science and maintenance and spacewalks and robotics operations. So it's amazing to see that with the cooperation between the partner countries, we can do great things, and it's an amazing view to see the space station. It's a huge complex and flying in a low Earth orbit, and I am really hoping that I'll be able to see this international cooperation will bring us further to beyond low Earth orbit, Moon or asteroid or Mars, and I would really like to see that coming in the very near future.
Welcome home, Koichi. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rob.
ばあさんお帰りなさい。
ありがとうございます。
すみません。
ありがとうございます。
長期滞在を終えられて、今の、お気持ち、特に今回船長という立場で、この大役を終えられたわけですが、そのあたりも含めての今のお気持ちをお聞かせください。はい。この半年間、軌道上で国際宇宙ステーションで非常に充実した時間、毎日を過ごさせてもらいました。やはり軌道上にいますと、6人の仲間と仕事をしていくわけですけれども、いろんな仕事をしていく中で筑波をはじめ世界各国の地上観測局の皆さんからね、力強い支援を受けながら仕事をしているなっていうことを感じながら仕事をさせてもらいました。ハーモニーの気持ち、和の心を大切にしてこの半年間私は仕事をしてきましたけれども、やはりその世界各国の地上管制局、そしてクルーが力を合わせることによって素晴らしい宇宙ステーションの運用の成果がねもたらされるんだなということを実感した日々でした。 ありがとうございます。次に今の体調を聞かせ願いたいんですけども、特に前回のシャトルと違ってソユーズの期間というところもありまして、その辺の違いとかもあったら合わせてお聞かせください。はい、体調に関しては少し驚いたんですけど、あんまりシャトルとソユーズと帰還後の体調というのは変わらないのかなと思いました。ただやはりソユーズの着陸、大気圏突入してですね、着陸して、パラシュートが開いたあたりからはやはり非常にダイナミックな、動きをしますんで、シャトルのようなスムーズな着陸とは違った形でしたけれども、非常に楽しませてもらいました。はい、最後の質問なんですが、地球にいろいろ戻られたということで、まずこれやってみたいということがあったら一つ教えてください。そうですね、たくさんありますけれども、やはり私がこの6ヶ月間、宇宙で体験させてもらったこと、宇宙開発の素晴らしさ、それを世界の人たちと一緒に協力して行うことの素晴らしさ、そういったことを少しでも早くより多くの皆さんにお話ししてみたいという、それが今私が早くしてみたいなというふうに思っていることです。お疲れのところありがとうございました。はい、どうもありがとうございました。
Deputy Head of the Government Commission, the crew arrived from the landing site. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I will try. Hello. Yes, all in good term. In good time.
Меня.